Story 1. The Fourth Date. I was 22, fresh out of college and living back home with my parents in a quiet, sprawling suburb just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. Like everyone else my age, I was bored, lonely, and spending way too much time swiping on dating apps. That's how I met Hunter. His profile was normal enough. Nice smile, pictures with dogs, a bio that said he liked hiking and craft beer. We matched, chatted for a week, and he seemed fine. Not thrilling, but safe. Our first date was a quick coffee meetup. 20 minutes, public place. He was polite, maybe a little intense with eye contact, but I brushed it off as nerves. Our second date was drinks at a local dive bar. We both got a little buzzed, laughed a bit. It felt like progress. The third date was dinner. That's when the cracks started to show. He kept interrupting me, steering the conversation back to himself, and made a few weirdly possessive comments about what I was wearing. But at the end of the night, he leaned in for a kiss. I let him. It was awkward and forced, but I told myself, don't be picky. Give him a chance. Then came the fourth date. We went out for drinks again. From the moment he sat down, his vibe was off. He was drinking fast, way faster than me. His eyes were glassy, and he kept trying to touch my leg under the table. When I shifted away, his jaw clenched. "What, am I not good enough for you tonight?" He snapped, loud enough for the bartender to glance over. "I'm just tired," I lied, signaling for the check. "I have an early shift tomorrow." He paid, but he was sulking. As we walked out to the parking lot, the crisp night air didn't sober him up. He grabbed my arm. "Come back to my place," he demanded. Not a question, a statement. "No, Hunter. I told you, I have work." "I'll drive you in the morning." He squeezed tighter. "Let go of me," I said, my voice shaking. He released me, stumbling back a step. "Whatever. You're boring anyway." I practically ran to my car across the street. I locked the doors immediately, watching him sway under a street lamp, glaring at me. I decided right then and there, block and delete. I drove home slowly, checking my rearview mirror constantly. I made 3 random turns just to be safe. At a red light, I noticed a gray sedan 2 cars back. It looked like his. My phone buzzed. "Hunter, are you following me, or am I following you?" My stomach dropped. I texted back, "Stop following me. Go home." He didn't reply. I pulled over into a gas station. The gray sedan slowed down, lingered in the middle of the road for a terrifying 10 seconds, then sped off into the dark. I waited 10 minutes before driving the rest of the way home. When I got into bed, safe in my parents' big, empty house, they were out of town for the weekend. My phone lit up again. "Hunter, sorry about tonight. I got drunk. Let's do dinner at my place next time. Make it up to you." I didn't answer. The next morning, "Is the vibe dead?" Then a question mark. I finally replied, trying to be polite but firm. "Hey, I don't think we're a good match. I want to focus on myself. Please don't contact me again." He exploded. Paragraphs of text poured in, calling me names, demanding I pay him back for the drinks, listing personal details about my life that I hadn't told him. I blocked his number. Then the no caller ID calls started. 10, 20, 30 calls a day. I silenced my phone. 2 days later, I came home from work to find a bouquet of red roses on my front porch. The card read, Everyone deserves a second chance. He knew where I lived. I had never told him my address. I felt sick. I sent one final text to his blocked number, unblocking it for a second. If you come near my house again, I'm calling the police. Then I blocked him for good. The silence that followed lasted 3 days. I thought it was over. It wasn't. It was a Tuesday night. I was alone in the house. My bedroom is a loft on the second floor, overlooking the living room, but with a door that shuts for privacy. It's the highest point in the house. I woke up at 2 a.m. I didn't know why. The house was silent, but the air felt charged. I laid there, holding my breath, straining my ears against the hum of the AC. Then I heard it. Click. The sound of a door handle turning. Not downstairs, upstairs. Someone was opening the door to the guest bedroom down the hall. Panic, cold and sharp, flooded my veins. I knew my parents weren't home. I knew I had locked the front door. I slid out of bed, silent as a ghost, and shimmied underneath my bed frame. It was a tight squeeze, dust bunnies sticking to my face. I clutched my phone to my chest and dialed 911. 911, what is your emergency? Someone is in my house, I whispered, tears streaming down my face. I'm under the bed. While I was on the line, I heard footsteps on the hallway carpet. Heavy, deliberate steps. They stopped right outside my bedroom door. The handle to my room turned slowly. The door creaked open. I saw a sliver of light from the hallway hit the carpet. Then a shadow blocked it. He walked in. He didn't turn on the light. He stood in the center of the room, breathing heavily. It was a wet, congested sound. Then he spoke. God fucking damn it. It was a whisper, but I recognized the voice. It was Hunter. He started opening my dresser drawers. Swoosh. Bam. He was rummaging through my clothes, throwing things on the floor. Then the mattress above me dipped. He sat down on my bed. I was staring at the heels of his dirty sneakers, inches from my face through the gap in the bed skirt. He sat there for what felt like an eternity. I could hear him tapping his fingers on his thigh. Tap, tap, tap. If my phone had buzzed, if I had sneezed, I would be dead. Finally, he stood up. Fucking bitch, he muttered. He kicked a pile of laundry across the room. Then he walked out. I heard him go down the hallway, down the stairs, and out the back door. I stayed under that bed for 15 minutes, until the police sirens wailed in the driveway. When the officers swept the house, they found how he got in. The dining room window was unlocked. But it wasn't just unlocked. Someone had crawled through the prickly holly bushes outside to reach it. They found footprints in the mud matching his sneakers. I filed a report. I showed them the texts, the flowers, the call logs. I got a restraining order. But because they couldn't definitively prove it was him inside the house, no fingerprints, he wore gloves. He was never charged with breaking and entering. I moved out of my parents' house a month later. I live in a secure apartment complex now, on the 4th floor. But sometimes, when I'm lying in bed at night, I swear I can hear that heavy breathing right above me. And I wonder what he would have done if he had looked under the bed. Story 2. The Crush with a Handful of Rocks. I was 12 years old, in the 6th grade. It was that awkward transition period where you're not quite a little kid anymore, but you're definitely not a teenager yet. We lived in a quiet subdivision in Illinois, right across the street from my middle school. It started the week of the fall festival. My school went all out every October, haunted hallways, carnival games, the works. I volunteered to stay after school to help paint fake tombstones and hang cobwebs in the gym. There was this other kid who stayed late too. Let's call him Tyler. Tyler was quiet. He played soccer, wore oversized hoodies, and generally blended into the background. We got along fine during those decorating sessions. We'd joke about how bad the fake blood smelled or throw popcorn at each other. He seemed totally normal, just a goofy, slightly awkward 12-year-old boy. I didn't think twice about him until 2 weeks later. I was at my locker when a group of girls, the popular clique, swarmed me. They were giggling, that high-pitched, conspiratorial giggle that usually meant trouble. "Ilara, you have a secret admirer," one of them teased. "Check your messenger tonight." I felt a mix of embarrassment and curiosity. At that age, having a boy like you is social currency, even if you don't like him back. That night, I was sitting on my bed doing homework when my iPad pinged. A Facebook message from Tyler. I opened it, expecting a "hey" or "what's up?" Instead, it was a wall of text. A manifesto. He wrote about how he'd been watching me since the first day of school. He described what I wore on specific days weeks ago. He talked about how he tried to show off during recess by kicking the soccer ball near me, but I was too stuck up to notice. The message ended with a line that made my stomach drop. "I'm tired of being invisible to you. You're going to be my girlfriend. Say yes." It wasn't a question, it was a demand. I typed back, trying to be nice but firm. "Hey, Tyler, I think you're cool, but I just want to be friends." The 3 dots of the typing bubble appeared instantly. He typed for 5 minutes straight. When the reply came, it was angry. He demanded to know why. He said I owed him a chance. He said he knew I didn't actually have a crush on anyone else, so I had no excuse. I stopped replying. The next day at school was a nightmare. Tyler had told every boy in our grade that we were dating, or that we were about to date. When I walked into the cafeteria, his friends started chanting, "Kiss her! Kiss her!" Tyler was sitting 2 tables away, staring at me. He wasn't smiling. He looked intense, almost furious. I felt unsafe. I went to my homeroom teacher, who sent me to the guidance counselor, Mrs. Gable. This is the part of the story that makes me angry to this day. I sat in Mrs. Gable's office, picking at my fingernails, and told her everything. I told her about the aggressive texts, the staring, the way his friends were cornering me. Mrs. Gable just smiled, a warm, condescending smile. "Oh, honey," she sighed. "Boys will be boys. He just has a big crush on you and doesn't know how to express it. You should be flattered. It's a learning experience." Flattered. I was told to be flattered that a boy was demanding ownership of me. I went home and told my mom. Unlike Mrs. Gable, my mom didn't think it was cute. She called the school immediately, screaming at the principal. But without physical proof of a threat, the school said their hands were tied. 2 days later, the stalking moved from the internet to my front yard. I walked home from school, literally a 3-minute walk across the street. As I unlocked my front door, I had that prickly feeling on the back of my neck. I turned around. Ducking behind my neighbor's parked SUV was a figure in a gray hoodie. It was Tyler. He was watching me enter my house. I slammed the door and locked it. An hour later, my mom came home. She found a folded piece of notebook paper on our welcome mat. It read, "Check under the Impala." My older brother, who was 17, drove a beat-up Chevy Impala. It was his pride and joy. We ran out to the driveway. My mum got on her hands and knees and looked under the chassis. There was nothing there. No bomb, no dead animal. But the next morning, when my brother tried to drive to school, the brakes failed at the end of the driveway. He drifted into the street. Thankfully, no cars were coming. We took the car to a mechanic. Someone had messed with the lines. It wasn't a natural brake. It was tampering. We knew it was Tyler, but we couldn't prove it. No cameras. No witnesses. The harassment escalated. I'd catch glimpses of him taking photos of me at the bus stop. I'd wake up to 50 messages. "Good morning, beautiful. I saw you wearing that blue shirt today. Why did you talk to Mike at lunch?" It all culminated on a Friday night in November. My parents had gone out to a dinner party, leaving me and my brother home. My brother was downstairs playing video games with his headset on, blasting noise. I was in my room on the second floor. I was watching YouTube on my iPad when I heard a sound. Thump. It came from my window. Now, my window is 20 feet off the ground. There are no trees close enough to hit it. I paused the video. Silence. Thump. A distinct, heavy impact against the glass. My heart started hammering against my ribs like a trapped bird. I crept off my bed and crawled across the carpet. I reached up and pulled the curtain back just an inch to peek down into the front yard. The streetlights were dim, but I could see him. Standing in the middle of my lawn, looking straight up at my window, was Tyler. He wasn't wearing a mask. He wasn't hiding. He was standing there in his winter coat, holding a handful of gravel and rocks from our driveway. He raised his arm and threw another one. Crack! It hit the glass right in front of my face. He saw the curtain move. He saw me. And he smiled. He mouthed something. I couldn't hear him through the double-paned glass, but I saw his lips move. Come down. I scrambled back from the window and screamed for my brother. My brother tore off his headset and ran upstairs. By the time he got to my room and looked out, Tyler was gone. My phone buzzed. "Tyler, why are you hiding? I just wanted a kiss." "I'm not who you think I am. Please come outside." My parents came home, and this time we called the police. We showed them the texts, the damage to the window screen, the mechanic's report about the car. Because he was a minor, I don't know the exact details of what happened legally. But I know he was suspended, and eventually he transferred schools. I heard rumors later that he got into legal trouble in high school for something violent. I'm in my 20s now. I haven't seen Tyler in 10 years. But the thing that scares me the most isn't the rocks or the texts. It's that counselor, Mrs. Gable. I think about her sometimes. I wonder how many other girls she told to be flattered by a stalker. I wonder if she realizes that by normalizing his obsession, she emboldened him to come to my house that night. I keep my curtains closed now. And I never, ever sleep with the window open. Story 3. The Girl in the Walk-in Closet. I've always been what you'd call a late bloomer. I was the kid who sat in the back of the class, played Warhammer 40K, and didn't really figure out how to talk to girls until I was well into my 20s. By 23, I had landed a high-paying job in software engineering in Chicago. I moved out of my parents' basement and bought a swanky, renovated loft in the West Loop. It was way too big for just me. 2 floors, exposed brick, massive industrial windows. It was the kind of bachelor pad I thought would finally make me cool. That's when I matched with Vanessa on Hinge. Vanessa was gorgeous. Out of my league, honestly. She was an art student, quirky, intense, and she seemed fascinated by me. We went on a dinner date, and I was nervous, sweating through my shirt. But she grabbed my hand across the table and told me I was refreshingly real. We made it official after 3 weeks. I was on cloud 9. I ignored the little red flags because I was just so happy to finally have a girlfriend. The control started subtly. First, it was the texting. If I didn't reply within 5 minutes, she'd send a question mark, then a sad face, then a call. Then came the location sharing. We were watching a movie on my couch when she grabbed my phone. "I'm adding myself to your Find My Friends," she said, giggling. "Just so I know you're safe." I let her do it. I had nothing to hide, right? The honeymoon phase crashed and burned 2 months in. I was at a buddy's house for a poker night, just me and 3 guys from work. My phone buzzed. Vanessa. "Why are you at 4th and Main? Who lives there? Why aren't you answering? I see your dot moving. You're in the living room." 20 minutes later, my friend's doorbell rang. It was Vanessa. She pushed past his mom, marched into the basement, and started screaming at me for ignoring her. It was humiliating. I dragged her outside, and we had a screaming match on the sidewalk. I drove home alone, shaking. I realized I was dating a lunatic. I sent the breakup text from my driveway. "This isn't working. You crossed a line. Do not come over. We are done." She went nuclear. She called me 40 times in 1 hour. She showed up at my door, pounding on the heavy steel frame until her knuckles must have bled. I blasted music in my headphones and waited it out. Eventually, she left. I blocked her on everything. I stopped sharing my location. A week went by. Silence. I thought the nightmare was over. It was a Friday night. I was home alone watching a horror movie, eating cold pizza. Around 11:30 p.m., I muted the TV to take a call from my mom. In the silence, I heard it. Click. The sound of the door latch connecting the kitchen to the laundry room. My loft has a weird layout. The laundry room has a back service door that leads to the alley. I always keep it locked. "Mom, I have to go," I whispered. I grabbed a chef's knife from the magnetic strip in the kitchen. I crept toward the laundry room. "Hello?" I yelled.
"I have a knife." "I'm calling the cops."
Nothing. I shoved the door open. The room was empty, but the back service door was unlocked and slightly ajar. I slammed it shut, locked the deadbolt, and called 911. The Chicago PD arrived quickly. 2 officers swept the entire loft. They checked the closets, under the bed, the bathroom. They even shined flashlights into the rafters. "Nobody here, son," the older officer said. "Ideally, you probably just forgot to lock the back door, and the wind blew it open." I felt stupid, but relieved. They left. I double-checked every lock in the house. I was too wired to sleep, so I took a heavy dose of melatonin and went upstairs to my bedroom. My bedroom is an open-concept loft on the 2nd floor, with a bathroom and a large walk-in closet attached. I locked the bedroom door, even though I was alone in the house, and passed out. I woke up to my phone vibrating against my chest. I was groggy, the melatonin making my brain feel like sludge. The room was pitch black. I squinted at the screen. I had 10 new text messages from a blocked number. "Are you asleep? You look so peaceful." Wake up. Wake up! Wake up! My blood turned to ice. I sat up, fumbling to turn on the bedside lamp. Before my hand could find the switch, I heard a sound that will haunt me until the day I die. A sharp, ragged intake of breath. It came from the walk-in closet, directly to the left of my bed. "No!" I screamed. The closet door burst open. Vanessa lunged out of the darkness. She was wearing all black, her hair a mess, her eyes wide and manic. In her hand, she held a paring knife she must have stolen from my kitchen hours ago. I scrambled backward, falling off the bed, tangling myself in the sheets. I didn't have time to grab a weapon. I ran for the bedroom door. I yanked the lock, tore the door open, and slammed it shut behind me just as she reached it. Thud! She slammed her body against the door. I pressed my back against it, bracing my feet on the floorboards. I could feel her pounding on the other side. Schlick! The blade of the knife pierced right through the hollow core wood of the door, inches from my kidney. She was stabbing the door blindly. "I just want to talk!" she screamed.
Why did you leave me?
I pulled out my phone with shaking hands and dialed 911 again. "She's here! She's in the bedroom! She has a knife!" She kept stabbing. Thud. Crunch. Thud. The door was starting to splinter. I knew the latch wouldn't hold much longer. I wasn't strong enough to hold her back forever. I realized I had to change tactics. If she broke through while she was in a rage, she would kill me. I took a deep breath. "Vanessa!" I yelled through the door. "Baby, stop! Stop!" The stabbing stopped. Silence. "I'm sorry," I lied, my voice trembling. "I was just scared."
I love you. I want to be with you.
"You do?" Her voice sounded small, like a child's. "Yes, I made a mistake. Please, baby, I can't talk to you while you have the knife. It scares me." "Put it down." "Okay," she whimpered. "Okay, I'll put it down." I heard the metal clatter onto the hardwood floor inside the bedroom. "Did you throw it?" I asked. "Throw it across the room so I know it's safe." I heard a slide and a clatter against the far wall. "Okay," I said. "I'm coming in." I counted to 3. I ripped the door open and tackled her. She screamed, clawing at my face, realizing I had tricked her. But without the knife, she was powerless. I pinned her to the ground, using my weight to hold her down while she thrashed and spat at me. I held her there for 7 minutes, until the police kicked down my front door. When they dragged her away, she wasn't screaming. She was laughing. The investigation revealed she had been in the house before I called the cops the first time. When I heard the noise in the laundry room, she hadn't left. She had slipped upstairs while I was checking the back door. When the police searched the house, she had buried herself under a pile of winter coats and boxes in the very back of my walk-in closet, while the cops shined their lights just feet away from her. Then she waited 4 hours for me to go to sleep. She's in prison now. Aggravated assault, breaking and entering, stalking. I sold the loft. I couldn't live there anymore. Every time I see a closet door that isn't fully closed, I feel a phantom pain in my side, right where that knife almost went through.